All your favorite products under one roof in Bahrain at 27-year-old Megamart and Macromart. Bakery, fresh meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, sweets and snacks, ready-to-eat foods, dairy products, grocery or consumer goods. To have a wonderful shopping experience, please visit your nearest Megamart Macromart branch. Megamart and Macromart, full of goodness.
Every piece of jewelry tells a story. Its raw beauty speaks of its natural origins. The brilliant design speaks of unparalleled craftsmanship. Its elegance evokes the passion and energy of those who wear it. With our stunning collection of fine jewelry, gemstones, pearls and diamonds, fine pieces in timeless designs and unspoken elegance. Al Siraj Jewelry.
A Bahraini entrepreneur and pioneer of business relations and marketing communications in the GCC. A man who in style executed the art of advertising to take it to heights. Khamis Mohammed Yusuf Al Mukhla. Founder, Chairman and Managing Director of Gulf Marcom, the first full-fledged locally owned advertising and PR agency set up as the Gulf Public Relations in 1974, Mr. Al Mukhla established his startup to billions worth business empire, demonstrating his passionate vision and dream of building an enviable advertising industry in Bahrain. The saga of the iconic businessman is not limited to this. A proud alumnus of India's St. Saviour's College, Mr. Al Mukhla is a recipient of the Proficiency Medal First Class from His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa in 2007. Numerous laurels are credited to this man, who is ranked among the top 500 powerful Arabs by Arabian Business Magazine in 2012, as well as among the 50 most influential people in Bahrain by Arabian Business Magazine's Power List 2009. The former journalist is also the founder, Chairman Gulf Translations Bahrain, Hill & Knowlton Strategies Middle East and Lintus Gulf UAE. He was also the founder and vice president of Bahrain Film Production Company, the GCC Advertising Association, and former board member of Bahrain Businessmen's Association, among others. An ardent reader, writer, and a tennis player, the father to four, is also the founder of Bahrain Tennis Federation and president of Bahrain Tennis Club. Joining me this evening on Success Stories of Business Leaders on BIZ Talk from BMC Global Live is Bahraini businessman Khamis Al Mukhla. Public relations is a balanced way of managing information flow between businesses and public. Thus says marketing and digital PR agency, The Content Factory. Is public relations that simple? Well, we can hear about it and more from the veteran himself, a Bahraini business icon who brought home the ideas of branding and advertising and establishing the sector with an identity with a signature on it. This evening, joining me on BIZ Talk from BMC Global Live, it is Khamis Al Mukhla, founder, chairman, managing director of Gulf Marcom. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for honoring us with your presence here.
Good evening, and thank you very much for inviting me to this show.
Thank you so much.
And I'm very pleased to be with you and to have this interview. And I hope I'll be able to provide some good background on the PR, advertising, and publishing, actually. I've been also in publishing business.
Great.
And the rest of it, all related activity.
Definitely. Yeah. As I said, the show is titled BIZ Talk, which brings to people success stories of businesses in Bahrain, Bahrainis and others. And you are definitely one of those iconic businessmen in the country who established a PR agency, I think perhaps the first ever locally owned PR firm in the country. And that too in the 70s. Let's start from there. It was such a time when public relations was a very raw field. And unlike youngsters of those kind who took to many other businesses, as we see your contemporaries, you took to a very different kind of field. What was the inspiration, or what took you to this field, public relations?
I believe I had the passion and the love for advertising and PR from early days. I still remember my school days, secondary school days. I was involved with the school magazine. You know, we used to have a school magazine, and those days it was, I mean, a large page. You know, we put it on the wall, and we used to write the articles, and we have also drawing with it, and it was, you know, seen by the students in the school. I also was involved with the photographic group in the school, and I used to have my camera with me all the time at that age. So I think it started from the beginning, and also started with my love to reading and writing from that early age. And then my first job was also with a media, with a publication called Sada Al-Asbu'. It was very popular those days in the 70s. And I was writing with that publication. And not only writing, I also produced a supplement, you know, with that publication called Markets, or Al-Market, Al-Aswaq. And we used to, I think we were the first to introduce what we call it editorial advertising. So we go to companies and we write about them on that supplement. And it was a monthly supplement with the weekly magazine. So that was really the beginning. And then I was the commercial manager of that publication. And that led me, that was around the 72. And that was led me to, you know, to start the Gulf Marcom with two Bahraini partners, late Hassan Al-Jishi and Abdul Nabi Al-Shu'la. This is when we started in 1974. I also still remember a very interesting, you know, sort of love to advertising and publishing. When I was in India at Xavier, I was there for a short while. And from Xavier, there were, you know, the Times of India, you know, offices and printing press. It was not far from the VT station. So I used to walk from Xavier and go to Times of India building and look from the window and see the printing of Times of India. And I was really enjoying it.
Okay.
And as well as at that time there were also a magazine called Illustrated Weekly, published
Illustrated
by
Weekly, yes.
yeah, and also I used to. It was a color magazine, so maybe this was with me from that early time. You know that I love writing, I love reading, I enjoy publishing, I enjoy printing. That goes back since that time.
It makes me very proud to be an Indian myself, because you have some roots in India,
Yeah.
which brought you to this beautiful industry
Right.
of marketing and advertising. Indeed, Illustrated Weekly speaks volumes when you say that, and when you hold that close to your heart, that shows your passion. And you being in the field, public relations and marketing, or even advertising, from the 70s
Yeah.
till date, it's a field or a sector which is gone through dramatic changes, isn't it?
Of course.
From then to now.
Okay.
Could you take us through that journey? Because you being in the field, the veteran, having seen the different media platforms emerging, how did the field change over the years?
We started just after the independence. Independence was 71, we started 74. That was the era of modern Bahrain.
Yeah.
That was the era when Bahrain started really building industries, attracting banks, businesses. That was really the time, and that was at the time late Sheikh Isa bin Salman Al Khalifa, and he himself is really a strong supporter of media. So this is when we started. But at that time, when you go and talk to clients about advertising or about PR, it was very modest, For them, you need to explain to them the importance of advertising and media to the success of their business. You have to explain to them that, this is an investment and not just, a donation.
Okay.
But many people realize, from our, approach to them that, okay, these are young people coming to business, and they are Bahrainis, and we will encourage them. But other companies, of course, big companies, they realize that it is very important for them, and they started allocating budget. But budgets were very modest those days. We
Yes.
don't have the budgets we have these days. I mean,
Correct.
Nowadays we are talking millions and billions. I mean, that was not there in those days. And also, I mean, media was also limited. But we still have to remember, Bahrain always been the first. The first color TV in 1971 was called RTV, Bahrain. Started in Bahrain for the whole region.
All right.
The first satellite TV was CNN during the Gulf War, 1991. They were broadcasting from Bahrain.
Okay.
So there were a lot of things which happened here in Bahrain in so many areas, and also in publication. Bahrain, started publication even before the World War II. 1945, we had a publication which has not continued because of the situation of paper during the war. But Bahrain started with oil discovery, 1932. This is where the whole thing started. Also, education has started much earlier in Bahrain. First, official government school was in 1990, Al-Hidayah Al-Khalifiyya in Muharraq. Then first girls' school was in 1928. And this was always first compared to the region.
Yes.
So advertising, PR, is always related to education and available of media. So you can't have media without education. So we had media in Bahrain long back, but after the independence, there were a growth of media. And of course, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa is continuing the legacy of his father.
Indeed.
With the economic vision 2030, and it's all to do with supporting media. And I believe there will be a time where we will see much more focus also on media in Bahrain. I'm sure it's happening and it's coming, and we will see much more growth with media in Bahrain.
Okay. Over the years, indeed, the change, and every guest on this platform had touched upon this point of Bahrain being a pioneer in almost all the fields which you mentioned, on all the growth segments, to be precise. And media has always been on the forefront. And indeed, as you ended your note as to the future
Yeah.
is looking bright. But we all know 2020, 2021 has been a little different from the rest, isn't it?
Okay.
How do you assess the impact of the pandemic on the field that you are dealing with, the public relations, marketing? Because you said about budgets being allocated for advertisements
Yeah.
or PR, unlike before in the past.
Yeah.
But when people started, the last year and this year, when people started tailoring their budget, limiting their budgets, where do you find the budget of PR and advertising being placed? Could they risk that?
I will tell you about advertising. There are many sectors which has been affected, and we all know these sectors. I mean, the tourism industry has been
Yes.
very much affected. Airline has been affected.
The hospitality.
Hospitality industry
Yeah.
has been affected. I think also luxury goods
Yes,
has been affected
indeed,
because
indeed.
people started feeling, okay, I mean, you know, normally people buy luxury products when they are really in a good mood. But when you are really facing a pandemic and, you know, people are concerned, so they will not also, they will postpone the decision of buying, including cars and others, you know, products. So there is a decline on certain categories. And there are, of course, a growth in other areas. You know, people started, you know, medical area and other area has seen a growth. But for sure, there is at least 25% decline in advertising budgets during, you know, 2020.
Okay.
I think 2021, there will be no growth, but there will not, there will be no
Difference in
decline.
the
You know,
yeah,
I mean, there will be
the
no decline. I think we
percentage,
have reached that now, the maximum decline, because client has to stay in business. And I think many of those clients, they don't think just for the year, they think for the future. So if they stop advertising, they will lose their, you know, customer, and then competitor will come in and take their market share. So they have really to continue advertising, and they will continue advertising. The other changes is digital media,
Digital media, indeed.
because now it's available, and a lot of the advertisers are, you know, finding digital media as, you know, important to them, and now people are watching a lot of it, you know, what we call the new media.
The new media.
So that's again is growing, and I believe there will be a lot of changes to the industry, and we have to be ready for that, including, you know, the way the business is run, the way people are now, virtual communication, connection, and a lot of things are going to happen, and I think we have all to be ready. But for us, when this has happened, you know, in 1919, it's happened 2020.
2020.
Yeah, 2021. We were concerned what will happen to, you know, to the business. And our objective was really to stay, I mean, in the business, continue and maintain our staff, and not, you know, cut any of, you know, of the packages. And unfortunately, we managed. And also there were a lot of support from the government,
Yes.
you know, to industry which has been affected. So that also helped a lot, you know, businesses like the advertising, like the PR, like the exhibition companies, and the rest, and events companies. So that also helped, you know, that businesses to stay.
Great, great. Those of you who joined us on BIZ Talk from BMC Global Live, it is the Bahraini business icon, Kamiz Al Mukhla, founder chairman of Gulf Marcom, joining us this evening. Let's take a short break.
Every piece of jewelry tells a story. Its raw beauty speaks of its natural origins. The brilliant design speaks of unparalleled craftsmanship. Its elegance evokes the passion and energy of those who wear it. At Al Siraj Jewelry, our story, our pride.
A man who says he loves the smell of the ink of print. That was just what we discussed minutes before this interview with Mr. Kamiz Al-Mukhla, founder chairman of Gulf Markham, joining me this evening on BIZ Talk from Bahrain Media City. Sir, let me come into a little bit of you, the family man, because people would be interested to know, because we know you as a businessman. We read a lot about you, from how you started your business, etc., etc. But tell us something which you're comfortable with about you as a person, your family, and what do you do during your free time? I'm sure you're very busy because the list is long, the things that you've founded, so many associations, so many companies, and you have a lot on your plate. Tell me, like, what do you, if at all you find some free time, what do you do during your free time, etc., etc.?
I got married in 1973.
Okay.
My wife, Mariam,
Oh.
and we have 4 children. My daughter, Dr. Ghada, she is a dentist. And my son, Dr. Khalid, he is orthopedics
Okay.
consultant. And then my son Tamer, who is with me in the business, and my son Fahad, he is with the government. So this is my family, and I'm really very happy with my family. And Mariam was a great help to me because I was busy, as you mentioned, Raji, about the business. She really looked after the house, and she looked after the children, and she was a full-time with them. And she actually supported me in the business. I mean, from the beginning, you know, I got married in 73, I started my business in 74.
74, yeah.
So she was really a big support for me all over the years, and she took care of the house and the children, and I was looking after the business and all the travel and all, you know, the contacts and so on and so forth. So she was, you know, the one who really helped me in my business. She also invested with me in the business, you know, from the beginning. So credit goes to her for, you know, what I have managed all over this years. I used to, of course, spend time with my family. I mean, although I'm busy, but, you know, I always find the time, the weekends, I go with them. I also travel with them, you know, during holidays. So I really, you know, manage to, you know, spend time with my family. I also spend time with my club, like tennis. I started tennis because...
I wanted to ask you, because you are the founder of Bahrain Tennis Federation, and you are the president of Tennis Club.
Bahrain Tennis
of
Club,
Bahrain, Did you have a passion for tennis, or what led you to tennis?
What led me to tennis, when I started business in 74, I was just occupied with the business and with the family, and I really neglected sport.
Okay.
All of a sudden, my weight went up
Okay.
to something like 100.
Right.
You know, and I was 100 kilo is a lot really to carry and to run a business.
Okay.
So I said, I asked a friend of mine, I said, what shall I do? He said, you have to come for tennis.
Okay.
There is a club called Bahrain Tennis Club in Jufair, and come and play there, and this will help you. So I started playing tennis with the objective of losing weight.
Yeah.
And I loved that sport. I actually known this sport even during my school days. You know, we were in Maharreg, and next to our school, there were residents for the British military. You know, they were living there. And I see them playing something very strange to me.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, what is this? You know, I mean, they are playing. Till, of course, I realized it was tennis. And, you know, but yes, I saw it, and I really liked it from that day. And I said, okay, maybe one day I play that tennis. That's when you know, I like that tennis. And then, as I said, I joined the club for the objective of sport. But then I found myself involved with the, you know, formation of the tennis federation. Then I became the president of the club. So I always tell my friend at the club, you took the pleasure from, you know, my
He stole the
sport
pleasure.
really,
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
you put me responsible of the club. But I'm very proud.
Do
I'm
you
very
still
happy.
play tennis?
But yes, I do.
You do?
I do play
Okay.
at least twice, 3 times a week. And we have a very successful club, which we are all very proud of. And it is one of the first club. Again, we come back to first.
Yes.
First clubs in the region. Started in 1973 by Bahraini pioneers. You know, those Bahrainis who studied abroad, you know, in Europe, in US, in Lebanon, and Egypt, because tennis was there. And when they came back, they already know tennis.
Yes.
And they started this club. So it was one of the first club in the region for tennis. And it is, you know, a very successful club. And we hope, you know, that this sport will also become a very, you know, active and important sport for Bahrain with the new direction.
For the sports lovers out there, do you have any plans as such for the Bahrain Tennis Federation? Anything new that you're planning?
We are really discussing with the ministry and with
The youth in sport.
the youth sports and with all concern of the, you know, developing sport, that tennis has a lot of future. You know, and you know, it's now become a very popular sport. I mean,
Yes,
it's
indeed.
like football, for instance. You know, one day it was not, it was only for the elite.
Yes,
It was only for the special.
Exactly.
Nowadays, it is, you know, everywhere. Even it has become an Olympic game. At one
Yes.
time, it was not an Olympic game. So I think there is a lot of opportunity for Bahrain to really, I mean, embrace that sport and grow it, and you know, make Bahrain a center for tennis for the region.
Great. Allow me to ask you, Mr. Mukla, if I go through your profile, we see you established many things, or you are founder of so many things, including tennis. And one name which stands out is the Helen Knowlton,
Okay.
which is in the field, across the region, a name with an identity. Tell me, like, what led you to Helen Knowlton as well? I'm sure people out there would be interested to know.
We started PR since day one. And we actually called Gulf Public Relations at that time.
Yes.
And that was in 1974, okay? In 1985, Helen Knowlton contacted us. At that time, we were launching a very big, you know, insurance group. They called them ARIG at that time.
ARIG.
And it was one of the biggest and was supposed to
Arab Regional Insurance.
Arab Insurance Group,
Arab
ARIG,
Insurance
yeah.
Group, yeah.
And that was supposed to be a competitor to Lloyd's. You know, it was really, you know, that. And we contacted an international company, and that was Helen Knowlton, to work with us on launching, you know, ARIG as, you know, an Arab group for insurance and reinsurance. That was the connection. And since then, Helen Knowlton was interested to join us, and they joined us in 1985. And since then, Helen Knowlton was growing. From Bahrain, we opened Dubai, we opened Abu Dhabi, we opened Qatar, we opened Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And now from a very modest 3-5 people, you are talking 200 people all over the region. And it is one of the biggest, you know, PR network
field,
in the region. And it is part of the WPP group, which is the biggest group globally. So that's the story. And I believe this is a very successful story when it comes to, growing a business. This is how it started.
Yeah, and the way the business is thriving these days, or the digital media, the entrance of the digital media.
Yeah.
How do you see the way forward changing in Hinel Norton? I know we deviated from your personal space or discussion about your family, but I'm asking you this because you're very enthusiastic about the field. I can see that. And you're a man who's passionate about this field.
Definitely.
So I'm sure the passion is still there.
Oh, yes.
Do you see or do you have plans of any changes with the new advent of the social media, the digital media, and things like
Well,
that?
it's happening. Let me tell you an example, Raji. I mean, our digital unit 5-6 years ago, it was 5-6 people.
Okay.
Now I'm sure we have exceeded 30 people. And that shows you the importance of digital media.
Indeed.
We also now produce our own film. I mean, in the past we used, to outsource it. Now we have a team to really work on producing the films for the digital media. Okay. So it is growing, and it's really growing in a big way. The same applies to advertising. The digital is now going to be the future, and all agencies has to be ready for that. And like many industries which has now lost its importance, if you don't change, I think you will miss the boat, you will miss the opportunity. And digital is really what is the future.
And you're also the president of Bahrain Film Production Company, isn't it?
This is a film company.
Yeah.
We started many years ago with the objective really to encourage the talents, film talents in Bahrain, and we produce 4 films, but now it's on hold. I mean,
I wanted to ask you.
Now it's on hold, and for sure we will revive it at some stage. But the objective is still there, and we believe Bahrain can do a lot in in film production and TV series. So we are still believer on that. It's just, we are...
Yeah, because we have stepped into the era of web series and things like that.
Oh, yes. No. And I think we have a good talents in Bahrain.
Yes.
And they are really keen, and they want opportunities. And, we definitely, at some stage, we will get back and come, stronger.
Great. Yeah. And I know with people like you, there to encourage and lead them forward, indeed, we see a great
For
future.
Sure. I mean, if you look at the number of TV stations, the number of cinemas, and there will be a lot of business there.
And of course, the pandemic has changed the style, isn't it? People are really connected virtually, and this has become the entertainment mode.
Actually, I mean, my pleasure when I see the talents, the TV series talents, the actor, actress, and musicals, and writers, when I see them working. This is really a pleasure, and they are all talented, and they are ready to produce a good work, and we should provide them with the facilities, and I'm sure there will be a lot of that. And I'm sure, as I said, I do believe that our government will look at the media as a very important sector, and I'm sure we will see something very soon.
Very optimistic.
Very optimistic. I'm definitely.
Thank you for that optimism.
It's a big industry, and there is a lot of business opportunity in
potential, it. Potential rich industry. So allow me to conclude this segment with one last question. You write.
Yeah.
You enjoy writing.
I do.
What inspires you, or what is the subject that you write? What kind of writings do you do?
I did a lot of writing in my experience.
Okay.
When let's say I'm traveling with an airline, I go through an experience with that airline. I report that.
Okay.
But in a light way, Let's say I travel to a country, okay, and experience, interesting things in that country. I write about it. So I write what I go through in life, and also if I meet interesting people, I write about them. So that was the way I used to write. Unfortunately, for the last few years, I was busy with my work writing.
Okay.
So I write a lot. I look at a lot of our press releases. I examine them. I look at a lot of our translations. I look at a lot of our copywriting. That took from me you know. But I'm now active in a book about what we have, you know, done over the 50 years in advertising,
Okay.
in PR. I started that. I am almost there. It's now the final touches. That also took a lot of my time. But I still love writing. I still really dream that I go back. It's just finding the time and, you know, finding the drive,
Right.
you know. But I still write. I mean, my day when I go to office, I mean, I always have at least 2-3 hours of reading and writing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That was a slice of the man who took a dream to a success statement. Joining me this evening on BIZ Talk is Khamis Al Mukhla, founder chairman of Gulf Marcom. Let's take a short break.
Lulu International Exchange, the world leader in money transfer, brings you the Lulu Money app that lets you transfer money quickly and easily. Money, whenever. Download the Lulu Money app.
All your favorite products under one roof in Bahrain. At 27-year-old Megamart and Macromart. Bakery. Fresh meat and fish. Fruits and vegetables. Sweets and snacks, ready-to-eat foods. Dairy products, grocery or consumer goods. To have a wonderful shopping experience, please visit your nearest Megamart Macromart branch. Megamart and Macromart, full of goodness.
Welcome back to BIZ Talk from BMC Global Life, and joining me this evening is Khamis Al Mukhla, founder chairman of Gulf Marcom. So moving on to the final segment of this beautiful chat and beautiful evening, how do you assess yourself as a human being? What do you think is your role? Because you are an established businessman and you credited your family, salam to Ms. Mariam, because the adage goes, behind every successful man there is a woman. And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mukhla literally credited it to his wife and the family. You said everything. But you as an individual, as a human being, how do you think you contribute to the society?
I believe I managed a lot of associations, a lot of societies, as you mentioned, tennis club. I was also involved with the Chamber of Commerce. I was involved with the Advertising Association, with the PR Association. I mean, these are all, you know, activities which, you know, to do with, you know, supporting people in the industry. So I have, done a lot when it comes to the industry, including had a training, an institute called RIAM for the advertising industry.
Riam, yes.
RIAM, and including the cinema company. It was meant to be really to support the talents who are in the film industry. So that was really the area which I really believe my role. My role is also giving a training opportunity within my company, whether it is Gulf Marcom or Hillel Norton. We have trained many people. Many of them climbed the ladder with us, and they are now taking a big responsibility. Many of them started their own business, and believe me, I feel very proud of that. When I see, people successful, this will give me a lot of pleasure. For me, it's something I'm very proud of. This is what and of course I have my contribution whenever is needed, whenever friends or contact come for advice or for direction or for information. I am always available to that. That's really my pleasure, is relationship and having that good relationship with all those who are in contact with me, or whom I work with, or who are my associate. That's what I enjoy doing.
Who's your role model in life, or role models? Because some people say that they have different.
Not an easy question. Because you have different people you look at. But talking about family, I would think my parents really played a very important role in my life by providing me with a happy family.
Okay.
That's really, and also
That's
by
important, yeah.
and by encouraging me to study at early age. I mean, even before going to school, they took me to local school to learn the Arabic, to learn the grammar. So from that early days, they encouraged me for studying. So I think for me, they are my role model. Of course, when it comes to profession, there are many famous names. I mean, like Ogilvy, David Ogilvy is a very. I really admire this man, and I always I read most of his book, and I read also others really. So that's for me my parents really is my good example of life.
Let me ask you one question out of curiosity. You're a man into branding and advertising. Among the numerous brands out there and advertisements out there, is there anything one which stays in your mind which you felt, wow, this is a great piece of advertising? Is there any such brand that has impressed you globally or Bahrain or anywhere? Like, some come with a sharp tagline, a short tagline, very catchy. Some come with an image, isn't it? Is there anything like that?
First, which from you, I mean, I never thought of it, but maybe Singapore Airlines.
Yeah, okay.
Has a special, sort of image, being, a small airline, and they managed to create that image globally, and small country like Singapore. If you hear Singapore Airlines is much bigger than the country itself.
Yeah.
And they are covering all over the world. But I work with most of brands during my career. I work with Unilever, I work with Procter & Gamble. They are the competitors to each other. So I work with many, brands and with many names. And but when you ask me the question, I don't know why I thought of Singapore Airlines as a good example of creating
creativity. Yes, you're right. Yeah,
big name, and for an airline, for a country.
Because I think that is the essence of advertising, right? The catchy slogan or that colors, isn't it?
Of course.
That was just a question.
But the good thing, the good news, Raji, is when we started, we didn't have many local brands. Okay. Now look at the market. We have so many local brands. I mean, if we are talking local brands, in Bahrain, airlines, we don't used to have a big name like Gulf Air now. Okay, now Gulf Air is becoming a very big brand for Bahrain. And now with the Airbus and with the Boeing, the new, I think they will become a very strong brand. But look at other brands, you know, Emirates, Etihad, I'm talking the airline, but look at the dairy companies. There are so many of them. So now we have a lot of local brands, which definitely, you know, will change the scene. Before we were depending a lot on
Imported brands, yes.
I will not be surprised at some stage that local brand goes global from this region.
Great.
Because they have the good product. What they need is just now decide, okay, we want to move to, you know, other markets.
Yeah.
And I won't be surprised. Of course, they are already there. If you look at the regional airline, they are all over the world now. I mean, they are competing with a big international name.
Right.
So there would be an opportunity for local brands to grow. I mean, in many areas. Perfume, for instance, we have a lot of perfume. Perfume can easily travel globally, and now you have a local brand. So many areas. I mean, there are, you know, now our local, you know, businessmen, they are moving into it.
Great. So thank you very much. That was a very beautiful chat, and I really enjoyed the conversation, and I'm sure our viewers also enjoyed. Can I have your final comments to Team BMC, please?
I thank you very much for introducing BMC to me. I really enjoy looking at your platforms, and I will definitely continue now watching it. And I think you are really adding a lot to, you know, to Bahrain when it comes to the media scene. And I'm sure there will be a lot of opportunity to grow this business. And that's, as I say, digital is the future. And I thank you for your business talk, and I enjoyed it. And as you see, I'm very pleased, you know, with this interview and with your successful show.
Thank you.
And this is very good for Bahrain, and to introduce, you know, business people here in Bahrain to your audience.
The honor is
I am
mine.
very impressed with the facilities which I have seen today. And I will definitely, as I said, come here and, you know,
You're always welcome.
see
Thank
your
you
team
so much.
here.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
My pleasure.
The public is the only critic whose opinion is worth anything at all. Allow me to conclude with this Mark Twain quote. That was Khamis Al-Mukhla, a pioneer in his field of choice, who gauged the pulse of public precisely, acted wise, and built a business empire. Until we meet with another guest next week, this is Raji Unikrishnan signing off. Good night. So thank you very much for joining us
Thank you, Raji.
at the BMC. We have Francis, the chairman of BMC, and media head Praveen Krishna. We have a small memento for you to honor you for gracing us with your presence.
All your favorite products under one roof in Bahrain at 27-year-old Megamart and Macromart. Bakery, fresh meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, sweets and snacks, ready-to-eat foods, dairy products, grocery or consumer goods. To have a wonderful shopping experience, please visit your nearest Megamart Macromart branch. Megamart and Macromart, full of goodness.
Every piece of jewelry tells a story. Its raw beauty speaks of its natural origins. The brilliant design speaks of unparalleled craftsmanship. Its elegance evokes the passion and energy of those who wear it. With our stunning collection of fine jewelry, gemstones, pearls and diamonds, fine pieces in timeless designs and unspoken elegance. Al Siraj Jewelry. Our story, our pride.
വിഷമിക്കണ്ട, എല്ലാം ശരിയാവും.
ലുലു മണി, സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം.
The exclusive franchisee of Cochin Kala Bhavan in Bahrain. With over a decade of existence in Bahrain, exclusive online regular classes have started for classical dances, music vocal, instrumental music, cinematic dance, Kathak, Zumba body fitness, karate and yoga, drawing, arts and craft, children's theatre. For more information, please call 39096845 3909 4806 38852397 or visit www.bahrainmediacity.com. iMac, Cochin Kala Bhavan. Since 2006, Magnum Imprint have been offering high standards of quality with our professional team that delivers all your advertising and promotional requirements efficiently and promptly. Right from flyers, billboards, business cards, corporate gifts and all your branding needs. At Magnum Imprint, we undertake laser cutting and CNC jobs. We ensure total product satisfaction at affordable rates. Magnum Imprint, your one-stop destination for all your designing and printing needs. Magnum Imprints, helping your business grow. For more details, please contact 39887088 or 33856330 or 33542530 or visit us at www.magnumimprint.com.